Here's a real busy bee for you. His name is Corbin Dunn. He's young, but already Corbin's finishing a computer degree. He's also traveled across Europe, accumulated a few motorcycles, earned his pilot's license, and built himself a treehouse.
It's nice. I like it. I mean, it's different because not many people live in a treehouse, so it's definitely unique. And it's my own private area. I can be as loud as I want. It can be as quiet as I want. So I have my peace and quiet. And it's cozy because it's small. It's just mine. I have tons of windows so I can see all the trees, and I really love nature, so it's another plus for myself. I like doing things with my hands, so I really enjoyed building it because I got to physically hammer. It's kind of a work of art and a work of joy because I know I built it myself. I had a little bit of help pulling up the walls and such, putting in some main beams, but it's really, truly your own thing, so that's why I like it a lot.
So, Corbin, is this a fire drill? No, he's just washing the windows. Corbin may be young in years, but he's an old pro at tree houses. He started building them when he was 14, and he knows all about the challenges of inhabiting a structure that's attached to living trees.
One of the things that people always ask about is, how is it in the wind? And it can get a little hairy, and the house moves quite a bit, but the stairs are attached to the ground, so they kind of stay still, and the house will move up and down. And it's also scratched from about an inch up where it's been moving up and down. So it is a little shaky in the wind. Now we're going inside my house. So my bathroom, which isn't totally complete here, oops, it's got the shower, a toilet, and the toilet I just finished because guys can pee off the edge, but girls kind of like to sit down, so I'd finish it so that my girlfriend could use the toilet primarily. This is my homepage for Corbin's Treehouse, and I have a whole kind of picture process of me building it. So basically the concept of building the treehouse was to build a platform on which to build a house on. So the only thing which is attached to the trees is the actual foundation of the house. For a treehouse, you can't really use just the set plans because they have to be really specific to the trees, and they're all different. There's no two that are really alike. So one of the things that I did was I first of all took some string, pulled it around the tree trunks, measured the diameter of the tree trunks, and then I measured the distance from one tree to another tree. Using Adobe Illustrator, I drew little circles which would kind of correspond to the size of the trees, and then put them down in the spots based on the distances and laid out where I would want the main beams to lay in the house. Another thing which I really wanted to build is a little crow's nest, as I said, higher up in one of the trees where you could get a good view.
For a really good view, the higher the better. And that calls for some creative and athletic building strategies.
Well, a lot of the house was hard to get to, so one of the things I had to do was get some climbing gear, and one of my friend's dads had a lot of climbing gear, so he gave me a harness which I could put around my waist, and some climbing rope, and from a book I learned how to tie knots and ascend up and down, and that's how I figured out how to use climbing gear to build the house. It's just fun to be high up. It's adventurous. I mean, I like to ride motorcycles. It's adventurous. You're just there, right in the open. Everything's around you. I want to learn to fly ultralights, and I want to get an ultralight because you're just out in the open. And it's just natural, too. You're right in the treehouse. You're up in the trees, with the birds and such.
Corbin isn't always up in the treetops. Today, he's about as down to earth as you can get. He's a practical guy. If he can't find what he wants in a book or on a website, he's not afraid to ask good old Dad.
And he built our house, so I always looked up to him because he had built the house that we really lived in and I grew up in. And he also taught me a lot on how to do construction, on how to use the circular saw, use the table saw and such. And so I learned a lot from my dad.
Dad is also handy in other ways, especially as he lives just up the hill. Corbin and his girlfriend Brooke often gravitate towards Dad's house, particularly when they're itching for a taste of real home cooking. So, what's the old man think of Corbin's treetop hideaway?
I know he wants to go up. He always wants to go up.
As long as the trees are growing, he's going to grow.
Get
There's
up
room
there.
for 17 more floors,
At
and I'm
least.
sure during the next 8 or 10 years that if you want to come back and see the next 2 or 3 floors, that'd be just fine.
Those last two jokers were Corbin's uncles, and they know their nephew all too well. Corbin's always wanted to get high. He got his pilot's license in high school so that he could enjoy a bird's eye view of a different kind. And how about Corbin's sister? Does she think his high-flying schemes are weird?
No, I think I'm more weird. I like his treehouse. It's very interesting, very creative. I want to decorate the inside of my brother's treehouse, but I don't think that he would let me. I got to make the curtains, that's about it, to keep it warm and keep the light out. I wanted to have my own treehouse too, but my mom wouldn't let me do it, so I just get to go in Corbin sometimes.
And Corbin's cool with sharing his branch-born bungalow with Sis.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind as long as she cleans up, because sometimes she doesn't. But other than that, it's fine. And there's no cereal boxes on the walls.
But when it comes to his favorite treetop companion, that would be girlfriend Brooke.
We will rent movies and then just snuggle around and watch TV or the movies or something.
Drink tea.
Yeah, drink tea or just hang out. Depends. It gets kind of cold, so we usually have to be pretty close to each other.
A design architect might say that Corbin's treehouse needs a more reliable source of heat. And Corbin might say, mind your own business.